And you are now live, Chair.
Thank you, Dorothy. So at this point, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'll begin with our land acknowledgement. The Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. The municipality acknowledges the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognizes that we are all treaty people. I'll do a quick roll call of our members. Councillor Hinch.
Here.
Councillor Young.
Councillor Young hasn't joined the meeting as yet.
Okay. Is Amber Brown with us?
Amber hasn't joined either yet right now.
Okay. Carlotta Weymouth.
I'm here.
Jerry Taylor.
Jerry is in the meeting. He might be having mic issues.
Okay. I do see him. Okay. Howard Brown. Is Howard Brown in the meeting?
I'm here.
Okay. Is Kahinda Akintola in the meeting?
Yes, I'm here.
Taylor Carvery.
Hello, I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you, folks. So we have regrets from Renee, of course, and Jay Reese tonight. We're expecting other folks to kind of trickle in and hopefully engage with us today. So item 1.1 is the African Nova Scotian affirmation. I invite ANZIO staff to please recite the affirmation.
Good evening, everyone. So at this time, we just want to acknowledge that African teachings, strength, and perseverance continue to challenge and inspire our community. And if we stand tall, it is because we stand on the shoulders of our many ancestors. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. So item 1.2 is a little different today. We have the annual election of the chair. At this point, I'd like to invite Dorothy to facilitate this election process.
Thank you, Maps. So at this time, I would like to call for any nominations for the position of chair.
Carlotta here. I'd like to nominate Maps.
Do we have a seconder for that nomination?
I can second that.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hinch. Do we have any other nominations? Calling a second time, any other nominations? Calling a third time, any other nominations for the position of chair? Seeing none, I would need a mover and a seconder to appoint Maps as the new chair of the committee.
Does he accept the position?
Oh,
I humbly accept the position as nominated.
I can move it. I can second it.
all those in favor say yay.
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 Yep.
All those opposed, nay. Congratulations, Maps. You're the new chair of the committee. Over to you.
Thank you, Dorothy. My first order of business as the chair is to undertake the annual election of the vice chair. So at this point, I'd like to call for nominations for the position of vice chair. Members at this point will either move or second the person nominated. So are there any nominations for the position of vice chair?
Point of information, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Who is all eligible to run for vice chair?
Any and all of our members.
Do you have the names? Because maybe some aren't here. Do you still look at them or?
Dorothy, what's the procedure for folks who are absent tonight?
Because we don't really require like a person to accept in order to be like appointed. So you can appoint them, you can nominate them if you wish,
Even in their absence?
even in their absence, yes.
Okay.
Well, then I appoint John Young.
Sneaky?
Dorothy, is that okay? Our counselor, John Young? Did we lose Dorothy?
Sorry, I'm here. I didn't realize I was on mute. Just give me a second. I'll just double check with the terms of references if counselors can be chair and vice chair.
Okay,
They can.
they can?
Yeah. I know Sanamon is the chair for the grants committee, so.
Just give Dorothy a second here. And for the moment, just think of any other nominations, if you have any in mind. Please bring those names forward.
I just took a look at the terms of reference. It says nothing in terms of the counselors not being appointed chair or vice chair. So,
Okay.
yep.
So for the moment, Councillor John Young has been nominated for the position of vice chair. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none, can I please get a mover and a seconder to appoint Councillor John Young as the vice chair of the African Descent Advisory Committee?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Hinch. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll
I
second.
second. Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. I'll defer to the brother.
Who was that seconder? I didn't catch that.
Oh, that was me. I moved second.
Okay, seconded by Kahinde. Please, can we, at this point, all those in favor, please, can we say aye, and those opposed say nay?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks. So I declare the motion is carried that Councillor John Young is the successful nominee as vice chair. Dorothy, is it okay for us to move on to item number 2?
Yep. Perfect. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for your votes, your nominations. Appreciate it. Looking forward to another year ahead of great work, fantastic engagement, and hopefully lots of learning as well. So thank you, folks. Looking forward to working with Councillor Young in service of you, our members, and our communities at large. So item number 2 is the approval of minutes from October 9th, 2025. Do members have any errors or omissions to the minutes of October 9th, 2025?
I just have one question because I wasn't at that meeting. Unfortunately, I went to the African Nova Scotia Music Awards. So I noticed there's a few new people. So were they appointed in, or how did that go? Or because this is the first time I'm in a meeting with Miss Carlotta, and there was another gentleman, Kahindit. Sorry, I don't want to pronounce your name wrong.
Yeah, it's Candy Akintola.
Sorry, what was it?
My name is Candy Akintola.
Okay,
Akintola, yes.
so yeah. So was there new appointments appointed, Matt?
These were folks who were, I think through our recruitment, we had some vacancies, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dorothy, but these were folks
Yes.
who were appointed on the basis of those vacancies. And I think the last meeting and the meeting before, few folks would have been present there for them to introduce themselves. And I don't think we've had the full complement yet of our members.
Okay,
So
okay,
it totally makes sense that you haven't met some folks. We met
okay,
Kahinda in person at the last meeting, actually. And I
okay,
don't believe we've met Howard in person just yet.
yeah.
No, okay. So there's some
So
folks you may
we
not be
have three
familiar
new
with.
people or more?
Kahinda, Howard, and who else, Dorothy?
There's Howard, there's Kahinde, and there's Amber. Those are the
No,
new
Amber's
members
already
right
been
now.
there. Amber's
Yes.
already been.
But those are the newer members.
Okay,
Those are the new members, yeah.
Yes.
okay, all right, thank you.
No, thank you for asking. Any other errors or omissions or questions about the minutes from October 9th?
Oh, and it's nice to see new faces. Sorry.
And on that note, Dorothy, do we still have any vacancies? We'd love to be at full complement.
Yes, there are some vacancies. I think that's part of today's presentation from Annie. She'll talk
Okay.
about that as well for the recruitment and stuff.
Wonderful. Thank you. So I'm not hearing any errors or omissions to the minutes of October 9th, 2025. Can I get a mover and a seconder to approve the minutes, please?
Carlotta speaking. I'll move.
Thank you, Carlotta. Can I get a seconder, please?
I don't want
I'll
me and
second.
Carlotta to hog up, yeah.
Seconded by Kahinda. Thank you.
Okay.
That the minutes of October 9th, 2025 be approved as circulated. All those in favor say aye, and those opposed say nay, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you. I declare the motion is carried. Item number 3 is the approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. Dorothy, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No additions or deletions have been received by the clerk's office, Chair.
Thank you, Dorothy. Do members have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Members? Hearing none, can I have a mover and a seconder to approve the order of business as presented?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Hinch. Can I have a seconder, please?
I know there's more than Virginia and I here.
Right? Come on, people.
Also move.
Thank you, Carlotta. Seconded by Carlotta. That the agenda is approved as presented. I declare the motion carried. Item number 4, business arising out of the minutes. There are none. No business items arising out of the minutes. At this point, item number 5, I'd like to call for declaration of conflict of interest. Does any committee member want to declare a conflict of interest as a result of an agenda item? If there are none, I'll move to the next agenda item. Number 6, consideration of deferred business. None. Number 7, correspondence, petitions, and delegations. Dorothy, has there been any correspondence received by the clerk's office?
No correspondence or petitions were received by the clerk's office.
Thank you, Dorothy. Hearing none, I'll move on to the next item. Item 7.3, today we do not have a presentation. Are there any information items that have been brought forward, Dorothy?
No, not for this meeting.
Thank you. So item number 9 is our reports and discussion. So 9.1.1 is the boards and committee recruitment. At this point, I'd like to invite Annie Sherry, Public Appointments Coordinator, to provide the committee with a presentation. Annie, please introduce yourself and welcome to our lovely little space. We hope you can engage with our members and share some information with us about recruitment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you all today. It's not very often that I get to present on board and committee recruitment to committees, so really appreciate you having me here. I am, the Public Appointments Coordinator for the municipality, so all of the boards and committees that have members of the public on them, I am responsible for overseeing the recruitment process for that. So I'll share my screen here and we will start the presentation. Alrighty, and is that full screen for everybody?
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So I've already introduced myself, so I'll just start moving along here. But again, thank you so much for having me. Very, very happy to be here. So I'll just provide a quick overview of what we're going to be chatting about today. So I'm going to just do a quick overview of the public appointments policy, basically just that it exists and what it does for us here. We'll talk about just like public recruitment campaigns at large. That's like the meat of the presentation, really just trying to provide members with an understanding of the beginning to end of public recruitment campaign. Then we'll talk about the current ongoing recruitment campaign for boards and committees. And then we'll talk about the recruitment for the African Descent Advisory Committee within that. And then, of course, at the end, we'll be happy to take any questions, receive any feedback or suggestions that you might have moving forward. So the first piece here is the public appointments policy. So the HRM's public appointments policy is the piece of legislation that guides our appointment program. So it outlines every aspect of the appointment process for members of the public to committees of council and external boards from start to finish. So the initial recruitment phase to getting members on a committee to the expiry of a member's term. So it includes everything from eligibility, the types of recruitments that we can follow, the application process itself, how applications are reviewed, interviews, the selection and appointment of members, and resignations and term expiries. So the public appointments policy outlines that there needs to be a minimum of 2 recruitment campaigns per election cycle. So essentially 2 every 4 years. But the municipal clerk's office runs an annual recruitment campaign as a standard practice. And so we generally launch that in November. And the need for an annual recruitment campaign is largely due to the fact that members of the public are appointed to boards and committees for 2-year terms, and they're often appointed on alternating years. So that helps provide for some consistency in committee membership, as well as providing the opportunity for members to join every year. So there are 13 committees of council and 8 external boards with members of the public on them that the municipal clerk's office oversees the recruitment for. And so in preparation for a public recruitment campaign, the public appointments coordinator reviews the membership of all meeting bodies for upcoming term expiries and vacancies to include in the recruitment campaign. So there are 4 types of recruitment processes that can be followed. And usually any recruitment campaign is a mix and match of these different types because as we'll learn, each recruitment type is often tied to a committee type. So the first one is the standard recruitment. So this is the most common recruitment type that we follow. And the standard recruitment is used for committees of council where skills and interests are required, are general in nature. Recruitment is done through an expression of interest advertised to the public at large and may be supplemented with outreach initiatives to raise awareness of opportunities and about the process of applying. The second option is the special expertise recruitment. And special expertise recruitment is used for committees of council or external boards where a specific expertise or perspective is required. So usually this is, from a technical or a professional group. An example would be the former design review committee. The membership outlined that they needed a landscape architect for the committee. So they would have fallen under the special expertise recruitment. The third is a specified stakeholder recruitment, and that's used for committees of council where council has identified that specific stakeholder organizations should be a part of the membership. So the Special Events Advisory Committee is one of our committees of council, and it has, the membership has seats that are designated for individuals from specific organizations. So, it might be one of the business improvement districts, or it might be Discover Halifax or the Halifax Partnership. If there are seats reserved for that organization, we reach out to the organization to ask for their nominations, and then they put them forward to us. And then the final type is the external body recruitment. So this one is pretty straightforward. It's in the name, and it's the process that we follow for appointments and nominations made by council to an external body. So recruitment is done through an expression of interest to the public at large and outlines the identified competencies that we're looking for. So the African Descent Advisory Committee, much like most committees of council, falls under the standard recruitment type. And I mentioned this when I was describing this particular kind of recruitment, but regardless of what type of recruitment we are following for a committee, any recruitment process can be supplemented with outreach and opportunities to raise awareness. So after all of the positions requiring recruitment are identified by the Public Appointments Coordinator, HRM, the Corporate Communications Office, can start to create some promotional materials for the campaign. So an example, I've just pulled a small one here that was currently being used for our ongoing campaign.
Right. So, it's probably here somewhere.
So, sorry, Anya,
Okay.
please go on.
Okay, thank you. So corporate communications develops a variety of materials. So they develop some ads for print and digital publications, and on the print side of things, they maybe put in community newspapers in different areas, in suburban, rural, and urban areas. And then they also create graphics and messaging for social media and public service announcements. So if we're recruiting for individuals from specific geographic areas, we also may be using targeted ads on social media to make sure that we're reaching those communities. And then when the campaign is ready to go, the campaign itself launches when the application page goes live. So now we'll talk about the application process itself. So these are some screenshots that I pulled from the application page for this particular recruitment session. And the application form for all boards and committees is located on the same page. A quick note that I want to say as well is that when somebody is looking at the application page, they will see that they are able to select a committee of council as well as an external board. You are not required to apply for both. You can apply for either or, but all individuals who are applying during a recruitment session are limited to applying for one committee of council and one external body. So to submit an application, we'll talk about, where to find the application form later on and the messaging that we're putting out to make sure that folks know where to go. But from the drop-down list for the committee of council, you would select the committee that you're looking to apply for, and a summary of the positions being recruited for may pop down if we're recruiting for specific membership seats. And you'll also be prompted with a text box that asks you why you would like to serve on the committee. My apologies there. We're running ahead of myself. So this is generally this is what the majority of the committee of council pages look like. So you'd select the position you're applying for, you'd outline in detail why you'd like to be on the committee. And we don't collect resumes or cover letters for committees of council, but most external bodies require them. So if you're looking to apply for an external body, you will see that there's another option to upload your resume and cover letter, and they'll need to be included in your application form. But for the most part, the why do you want to serve on this committee box is providing a good base for the information that is considered when reviewing applications. So further down on the form, there's a list of self-identifying information under the diversity section of the form. And applicants are encouraged to fill that section out. And all applications received during an active recruitment period are not kept on file for consideration for future recruitments. So essentially, every recruitment that we have, we're starting anew. So if you're interested in being considered for reappointment to a committee, you do have to submit your application if your term is expiring, because your former application that you used to initially get on the committee is not considered at the time of reviewing applications and considering reappointments. And so if there are members who are interested in reapplying to serve on the African Descent Advisory Committee, and your term is expiring on May 30th, 2026, I would recommend that you fill this box out on the application form as well, that lets the review board know that you are currently serving on the committee, and so that it will be a reappointment. So then after the deadline, after everybody has submitted their applications and the deadline has been reached, all applications are compiled by the Public Appointments Coordinator, and they are then compiled for consideration either by the nominating body or a review board. So when applications could go straight to a nominating body, that's a standing committee of council. So where the Executive Standing Committee is the kind of oversight body or the parent body of many advisory committees, including the African Descent Advisory Committee, that would be your nominating body, and they could take the applications as is, review them during an in-camera session of an Executive Standing Committee meeting, and then make their nominations to Regional Council for consideration of appointment. But the majority of the time, the applications are considered by a review board. So each meeting body has their own unique review board, which includes the CAO or their designate, the clerk or a designate, and a member of staff selected by the CAO. So while the selection of staff for each review board is up to the CAO to decide, the general practice is that at least one of their selections would be a staff liaison for a committee or a staff member that works very closely with the committee. So the review board comes together to review all of the applications received during a recruitment period, and they consider the eligibility, qualifications, diversity considerations, and potential conflicts of interest from the pool of applicants. And if the committee has seats for members from specific geographic locations or lived experiences, the review board ensures that their recommendation fills those positions accordingly with the applications that are received. And then from the recommendations that the review board makes, there are two potential paths that can be followed. So the first option is to make a recommendation of appointment to the nominating body. So in this instance, the review board for the African Descent Advisory Committee would review all the applications, decide on who they would like to take on some of those positions, and then pass that along into a report for the Executive Standing Committee. The Executive Standing Committee would consider the recommendation, and if they agree with the recommendation as it stands, they would pass it along to Regional Council for consideration. And then Regional Council would have to approve the appointments at one of their own meetings. So it's at least a three-step process of review board to makes the recommendation to the nominating body, and the nominating body makes the recommendation to Regional Council. And then there is other main option here, which just includes an extra step where the review board makes the recommendation to proceed with interviews for some of the candidates that have applied. So interviews would take place by having the review board make the recommendation that they would like to proceed with interviews and that they would like to interview a specific short list of candidates. The nominating body would then strike an interview panel and agree to proceed with interviews. The interview panel would then get together and proceed with interviewing individuals. And then they would come back to the nominating body to make the recommendations based on the interviews of who they would like to appoint. The Executive Standing Committee would approve it, and then it would go to Regional Council for their final approval. So regardless of which option is chosen, whether it's just making the recommendations for appointment from the review board or wanting to proceed with interviews, the ultimate decision is made by Regional Council on who gets to be appointed to a committee. So following Regional Council's approval of appointments, the Public Appointments Coordinator reaches out to each of the appointees to offer them a term on the meeting body. And regardless of whether it's a reappointment or a first-time appointment, successful applicants have 14 days from receipt of the offer to accept their appointment. And after 14 days, the offer is rescinded if they haven't accepted. And in that case, the Public Appointments Coordinator either would reach out to an alternate, which may have been appointed in that same recruitment period, to ask if they would like to join the committee and take on that position. But if there are no alternates that fit the requirements of the position, it may remain vacant until either the next recruitment takes place or a special recruitment campaign can be taken place. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but that is one of the instances that we have experienced with the African Descent Advisory Committee in particular. Yeah, we'll talk about why the vacancies still exist, which ones exist, and why. Yeah, so the next piece here is that if an individual is offered their appointment and they accept within the 14-day window, and they accept that appointment before the previous member's term is set to expire, then the new member's term will begin on the date that that member's term expires. So say person currently on the committee didn't reapply and their term expires on May 30th, 2026. The appointments are all taken care of before that point in time. When this member finishes on May 30th, 2026, new member starts. If appointments are not finalized by the term expiry date, current members continue to serve on the committee until new members have accepted their appointments. So when new members accept their appointments, the public appointments coordinator informs the member that has continued to serve past their term expiry that their term has come to an end. And that's all done over email. So that's why it's important for us to be able to have your contact information so that we can keep you apprised of all things appointments related. So now we'll talk about kind of how that's all feeding into the current public appointments or current public recruitment campaign, sorry. So on November 5th, we launched the 2025 annual recruitment campaign, which has 47 volunteer opportunities across, I believe it's 8 committees of council and 5 external boards. The deadline to apply is Wednesday, November 26th at 11:59 p.m., so just shy of 2 weeks away from now. And a really important piece here is that late applications cannot be considered. The public appointments policy has a line in it saying that they cannot be considered, so there unfortunately is no wiggle room. So please make sure that if you're looking to apply or if you're encouraging others to apply, that you're encouraging them to do so before the deadline. So the main hub for all information about a public about the public recruitment campaign is housed on halifax.ca/serve. It has the full list of volunteer opportunities. It has links to all of the different committees that are recruiting, so you can see, what positions, how a committee is comprised and what committees or what positions are being recruited for. Sorry, I need to have a drink. And then it also includes a link to the application page itself. And then, the standard way for members to submit an application is by visiting that link in halifax.ca/serve. But residents who require accommodation or some support moving through the application process are welcome and encouraged to get in touch with the municipal clerk's office, either at serve@halifax.ca or by calling the number at the bottom of the slide there. And now we'll talk about the African Descent Advisory Committee and the positions that we are recruiting for in this campaign. So there are 10 positions that we are currently looking to fill on the committee. 4 of these positions are currently vacant and 6 others expire on May 30th, 2026. So we were talking earlier about, what happens if somebody doesn't accept their appointment within 14 days, or potentially what if somebody resigns from their position for whatever variety of reasons that folks may come across. If there is an alternate appointed that is basically saying, we appreciate your application, but there's somebody else better suited to this position right now. Would you be interested in being appointed as an alternate? If they say yes, then they kind of have their approved application sitting and waiting in the event that somebody resigns from a position. If they are called upon to serve and they join the committee, then they become a committee member right away. There are instances where, we have not had enough alternates to be able to fill positions. And that is what has occurred within the African Descent Advisory Committee this time around. So of the 4 vacant positions of a recent immigrant of African descent, well, actually, am I reading these all right? One moment. Yeah, so a recent immigrant of African descent, a representative of African descent from Halifax, a youth representative of African descent, and a descendant of Africville. We do not currently have anybody who can fill those positions due to some of the resignations that we have had over the year. But that is why we are advertising for these positions during this recruitment campaign. There is always like an opportunity for there to be a special recruitment campaign when there are vacancies on a committee. But because the annual public recruitment campaign has more of a budget behind it, has better reach, if it isn't an immediate threat to quorum, staff discuss kind of how best to move forward, and then they may be incorporated into the next public recruitment campaign. The next piece here is the 6 positions that are held by members who are currently serving on the committee, and their terms expire on May 30th, 2026. So this was outlined in the memo that your lovely legislative assistant distributed on November 4th, which outlines all of the member terms that are expiring. If you are currently serving on the committee and your term expires on May 30th, 2026, you must submit an application in order to be considered for reappointment. That is the only way that we will know that you would like to continue serving, and where I believe everybody or most of the committee is within their first term, everybody is still eligible to be able to be considered for appointment. Again, usually what happens is if members have served 2 consecutive terms, that is kind of a term limit, and they might not be considered for reappointment in extenuating circumstances. But in this situation, everybody's in their first term, so everybody is all good there. On the application form, you will see the list of all positions that you are applying for. And if an applicant fits into more than one position, say they're a youth of African descent and they're also a recent immigrant of African descent, then they can and should select both options from this list. The information provided in one's application is what the review board has to work with and what members of council have to work with in terms of considering all of the information to proceed with recommending appointments. Yeah, so you can see here, these are all 10 positions that we are currently recruiting for. As noted on the application page and web posting for ADAC, the positions that are currently vacant may begin before the spring of 2026. So this will ultimately depend on a recommendation from the review board and the agreement of regional council, but we recognize that there are 2 kind of different levels of urgency here around trying to make sure that folks are represented here on the committee, and then meeting the term expiry deadline in May 30th. So there is potential for us to address these appointments in 2 waves, but again, it will need to be approved by regional council. But just letting you all know that there is a potential plan in place to get these positions filled as soon as possible so that you can have a full complement of a membership. And the last piece, thank you so much for having me today. I recognize that was a lot of information, and that's also the most I've talked in a very long time. So thank you for indulging. I really, really appreciate you inviting me here tonight. And I really look forward to your questions, your feedback and suggestions of how we move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Annie, for the information. We really appreciate it. This is something that our members have been quite interested in, getting an understanding of the recruitment process. I'm sure they'll have some questions for you. But before that, Dorothy, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to ask Jerry to accept to join the meeting as a panelist so that he has access to mic and camera. If he could do that, that would be perfect. And then he was having mic issues. If he can just test his mic.
I see him just pop back in. Jerry, we can see you, but we can't hear you if you're speaking. Can you unmute yourself again? Jerry, you're still muted. There we go.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can't hear.
No.
We can hear you.
Put in the chat when you're in. You're having some. Tell them you're having a problem that you can't. When you're in the
Look,
chat.
the mic is green.
Jerry, we
It's
can
on.
hear
It should
you.
be on.
Yeah.
You're having some trouble that you can't. You can't.
I'm gonna hit chat.
Can he hear us?
See what happens.
No, he can't hear us, but we can hear him.
Tell them when you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes,
Nope.
we can hear
Just
you.
put in the chat that when you're in it, when you're in as a panelist, you can't. You're not hearing me. That I can't.
Oh. She knows it's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, relax. Nothing you can do.
Just tell them in the chat.
No,
You're having
I ain't gonna say nothing. They just going with everyone. Stop talking.
You can't hear them.
Can you hear me?
We
No.
can hear you. Jerry, can you
The
hear us?
radio off. Heck with that.
I can try to
Okay,
give Jerry a call,
chat.
Chair,
Okay.
and try to figure that out. Yeah.
Okay, thank
But
you.
no, wait.
It could be something on the
Oh,
computer.
So while Dorothy helps Jerry with that, folks, are there any questions for Annie?
I have a few.
Go ahead, Counselor.
So, Annie, is it always 2 counselors that are appointed to the committee?
Thank you, Councillor, for the question. Through the chair to you, yes. The membership, sorry, the terms of reference for the African Descent Advisory Committee outlined that it's always 2 members of council that are members.
Even if they're not of African descent? So it doesn't matter? Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Also, another question, say if we have a hard time filling certain positions, such as Africville, because I'm from Africville, well, I'm a descendant of Africville, would that qualify for now until somebody else comes on board, or?
Thank you so much for the question. So no is the short answer there, because the way that the membership is broken down for ADAC is that it is 2 members of council who are holding those positions on their own. And then it is like kind of the rest of the membership that's broken down by members of the public by geographic location, specific, representation of descent and but there are certainly efforts like being made to recruit from all 7 communities. But I will note that the terms of reference also say that the committee shall include, it needs to have 5 members of the 7 historic African Nova Scotian communities. So we can proceed with 5 of 7 of the communities being represented, and that may result in, maybe 2 people both being a representative for one area. But like I said, efforts are very much made to be able to try to get every community represented.
Mhm. So if we don't have anybody if we don't have all the representatives by the 26th, did you mention a special election, something that could happen if somebody did come into play? Is that what you said?
Thank you so much for the question. Not necessarily if somebody were to come into play, but we have run special recruitments for this committee in the past and for other
Please, this
committees.
is Dorothy from the Municipal Clerk's Office.
Yeah, okay.
Dorothy, can you
Hi, Jerry. How's it going?
Hang on, I'll mute Dorothy. Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
My apologies, Counselor. I believe I muted you by accident. Sorry about that. Could you repeat the question?
So a special recruitment, yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
So a special recruitment isn't the driving force of a special recruitment is not somebody is now available, like somebody would like to apply for a position. It's that there's a vacancy on the committee that needs to be filled.
Yes.
So if if not all positions are able to be filled during this recruitment campaign, there is the opportunity to run a special recruitment campaign in the future.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any more questions, folks? Questions or thoughts about the recruitment? As you know, we're yet to be a full complement. So if you have any thoughts about how we can make that happen, please do share. I'm not hearing any questions. Perhaps,
So I'm gonna ask another question.
yeah, go ahead, please.
So, I mean, I know that they had the campaign and I put it on my socials, but is there something that can be directed towards the African Descendant Committee to so that we can entice folks to apply? So the recruitment thing, that campaign is on my socials, but it's not individually for each, recruitment. So it's not going to make anybody really look at it in a way to say, oh, well, then let me go to the African Descendants Committee, and they're not Advisory Descendants Committee. They're not going to do that unless it's actually in their face, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, and thank you for that, Counselor. And we do have materials that we have used in the past for specific recruitment for the African Descent Advisory Committee. They are not currently in circulation, but it is something that if the committee is interested in having that and would like to distribute and do some outreach within your own communities, I'm certainly able to work with Tracy and Russell and corporate communications to get that information distributed to you.
Yeah, we could put it out to the churches, to our community, all of our community members, to be honest with you. So yeah, I just think we're losing you know, an avenue to recruit folks. I don't know if anybody has any follow-ups to that.
Counselor. That if we don't get it out into the communities via the churches and the organizations like that, we're not going to get those people coming forward.
Exactly. Thank you, Carlotta. So Russell, is there something that we can do to, and Tracy, is there something that we can do to touch those areas?
So yes, as Sherry mentioned, like we do have materials that are already like prepared. We would just have to update them, you know, put the date. You know, we can identify the community or like the vacancy that we're trying to fill. Like we can update all of those on the collaterals, and then we could share them like with, you know, the committee members, and then you could distribute them however you feel fit. Like, you know, we've had them in the past where we've had them all in community on bulletin boards and, you know, sending them out to different email lists and things like that. We have done that in the past. So it wouldn't take much to work with corporate comms, update them. And like I said, to make sure that we have the, you know, specific information in terms of what role we're trying to fill within the committee. And then we could share it within the ADAC committee, and then have you folks distribute it however you feel fit.
Okay. And maybe we could like try, I don't know. I come back to the churches and I think of the churches like putting them in the bulletins or asking the pastors to, you know, just do a call out to let them know that there's vacancies, that type of thing. So, yeah.
I think that's a great idea, and I'm not sure where things stand with our communications folks. Could we have
Adjourn.
the Anzio branding, perhaps? You know how there's certain materials that's blurred, but that have the Anzio branding on them. I think that'll help with making it more kind of appealing and relevant to folks if we do it that way. Content can be the same, but I think folks need to know that this is about them and for them.
And
And if
point
I
well
could just-
taken, Chair. Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to speak and just say that it is branded. You know,
Okay.
all of the ANZIO African Descent Advisory Committee materials
Fantastic.
do have the branding, do have the Kente, so that for that, you know, the point that you raised, maps, just so it is visually consistent. It's something that folks already have caught on to and are familiar with. So we want to make sure that we are consistent with that branding so that folks do know that it is under the ANZIO umbrella.
Are there any more questions, folks?
Sorry, Chair. Jerry just rejoined. If he can test his mic. Jerry, can you hear us? Jerry, can you hear us? I don't think so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your assistance, Dorothy. Hopefully we can get him in the last couple minutes of the meeting. Folks, so last call for any questions around the recruitment process, any ideas about outreach. This is not a closed conversation by any means, so please keep those ideas coming, and we'll have the supports of our lovely folks at HRM to make sure that we are at a full complement and engaging in a meaningful and culturally relevant way. Okay. So again, thank you, Annie, for your time and the wealth of information you've shared with us. We really appreciate the insights into the process. We hope to keep working with you folks in making sure that our recruitment is sustained and strong. And so we really appreciate you coming out tonight, and thank you for that information.
My pleasure, Chair. Thank you so much again for having me. And I just wanted to say that, these conversations are intended to be a conversation. So as much as I'm sharing information, I also wanted that from you. So, this is how we make outreach, be as good as it can for every committee. So thank you so much. So I'll commit to, getting together with Tracy and Russell and getting the materials ready for distribution. And when they are ready, I will reach out to Dorothy, and Dorothy will distribute it, all the digital aspects to the committee members. And we'll see where we're at on timing wise for print options as well, for being able to mail those out to committee members. But if timing allows, we'll absolutely be moving forward with that. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Annie.
Give an opportunity to see who else is coming. And I know there are a few people who are
Jerry,
at the
can you
church
hear
setting
us?
up for the event on Saturday. So everybody just give me five minutes so we give everybody
Jerry,
an
can you hear us?
opportunity, anyone that's going to be attending tonight to come. In the meantime, if
Okay.
you
Okay, no luck. We'll move on to item 9.1.2, the Answer Your Monthly Update. Russell, do you have any updates to provide to the committee?
So just a quick update that I did just want to share. We're excited to say that we received 47 applications for the Anti-Black Racism Grants program. So the application period closed on October 31st. So we will be in the very near future going through the review process of reviewing all the applications, seeing if it meets the eligibility criteria, and looking at how many of those applications that we'll be able to fund in the coming months. We'll be looking at giving out awards. Usually we aim for February. It's something that we can do and within our celebrations in honoring African Heritage Month. So we'll be moving things along to get all of that in order for the new year.
Thank you, Russell. That's fantastic news. Are there any questions about the grants?
I do see Tracy has her hand up there.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Good evening, members of committee. Although we do the anti-Black racism grants, there is a whole grants program that's offered by the municipality. And there's some grants that are open right now that I don't think the African Nova Scotian community is taking enough advantage of. There's special grants for events. There's just quite a few that have opened up and closed November the 30th. So perhaps I could get Dorothy to share that link with the committee, because there are quite a few. I've asked my team to share them, just to give you a feel of what's coming. We've got grants for distinguished events. Oh, sorry. We've got grants for new and emerging events. So those two have deadlines of November the 30th. And I'd really like to promote this as much as possible in our African descent communities, because I'm not too sure they're taking advantage of these funding opportunities. So perhaps I could get Dorothy to share that with the committee.
Yeah, sure, Tracy, I could do that.
Thank you for sharing that information, Tracy. Folks, please do take advantage of this information, distribute it in your networks, and make sure that people are accessing these funding opportunities, incredible funding opportunities that are not being utilized, that are available to everyone. So please take a look at the information, check the eligibility, etc. And if there are any further questions, I think we can bring them forward and hopefully provide support. I know granting processes aren't always very straightforward, but this is how we make them more inclusive. When we know more about what's not working and what's working, we can keep improving that way. So this is another area where for sure we could be having more conversations and holding HRM accountable as well to making sure their processes are transparent, fair, and inclusive. So please do get folks interested and applying, and then we'll go from there and see how well it's working. Russell, I did want to ask about the Anti-Black Racism Conference. I know that was something that would have happened after our last meeting, if I'm not mistaken. So we'd love to just hear a quick highlight from that. I was able to attend the first half of that. Absolutely fantastic, incredible energy in the room, wonderful speakers. And of course, the event itself was quite vibrant, visually stunning. So I'd love to know more about how it went on your part.
Absolutely. So yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, we recently on October 23rd, we hosted what is now our 4th Anti-Black Racism Employee Conference. So it is a conference where we, it's held for internal employees, but it really is an opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue around issues and matters related to anti-Black racism, where we bring in different folks from community to showcase and share their talents, their expertise, their knowledge. And like I said, we're excited to share that we've had our 4th one. It was well attended. We had just over 250 employees attend, as well as many folks from community. We always have a Black vendors market that showcases local Black businesses. It's an opportunity for them to share with HRM employees their products and services. We had, Studio 26 perform. We had 2 phenomenal keynote speakers. We had some local spoken word artists as well. It was a very, very good day. We had a lot of positive feedback from employees and vendors and other folks that attended the event. So yeah, we're very pleased with, the momentum that we're able to continue to build and grow with these gatherings. And we're looking forward to adding to that momentum and the success next year.
A huge congratulations
Yes,
to
that's
you,
another
Russell.
computer. I can hear on that computer, but I can't hear on mine. So I guess that's how I'm doing it. I'm listening to the dialogues, and I don't have any problems. So as far as what's being said, so if there's any questions or anything I have, I will just.
Okay. A huge congratulations to you, Russell, on your continued success there with the conference. We look forward to supporting that work in any way possible and making sure our HRM staff are getting the opportunities to learn and grow in a way that is informed by the community's voice. So thank you, Russell, for leading that work. Councillor Hinch, I see you.
Russell, is it intentional not to have the counselors attend?
So it's a tricky question. So it is, but it isn't. It's always just kind of been the practice, when we have these gatherings, because it is for HRM employees, whereas the elected officials kind of fall under a different kind of category. And yeah, so like I said, we are looking at ways that we can, engage, the rest of council, all of you folks, and figuring out what that could look like. But like I said, from the beginning, this has always been something that has been separate and has just been for the employees for HRM. And like I said, we're looking at different ways where we can engage regional council in meaningful kind of dialogue and gatherings. I don't know if Tracy had something that she wanted to add. And just the other thing that I'll say really quickly too, I just do want to make sure that it's not lost that it's totally a collective team effort. I may be the one that they throw on the stage behind the microphone, but there's so many moving parts that couldn't happen without support from Tracy Jones Grant, and then my colleagues and other folks across the organization, making sure that these gatherings go as seamless as possible. So I just want to make sure that doesn't go unsaid.
Thank you. It sounded like a wonderful event. And I definitely would have attended if I could.
Maybe try disguise?
I felt like I wanted to sneak in somehow.
I was just gonna say, maybe you have to sneak in the back, Counselor Hinch, and don't let anybody see you, right? But it's because it's not opened up to all of the counselors.
Mhm.
And so, and we don't invite the mayor either. It's kind of CAO driven, but
Okay.
I'm sure Russell wouldn't throw you out.
Okay.
I would not.
Oh, good. I'm gonna have to put on a wig next year.
Thank you for that update, Russell. Anything more from Anzio?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you, Russell. Moving on to the next item, item 9.1.3, the proposed 2026 meeting schedule. Dorothy, was this shared, attached to the meeting invite? Just to double check here.
Yes, this was.
Okay. So folks, do you have any questions or concerns about the meeting schedule for 2026?
I didn't get to see it because I didn't see the attachment.
There's a few items on the meeting invite for today, so
Oh,
I totally,
okay. I
yeah,
didn't
I
look
totally
at that.
understand. It could have been missed.
Yeah, okay.
I could certainly share it here if that could be helpful.
I'm
Can
pretty
you
sure
pull
it's
it up on
fine.
screen? I think if folks can take a look at it at a glance, maybe. And any other questions later on, if they come up, please do raise them, and we'll make sure the schedule works for everyone as best as possible.
Give me a second here. That's the schedule on the screen right now. Just
Thank you, Dorothy. So the next meeting would be January 22nd. And then looking at any of those dates, I know it's quite a ways away, but if anything is of concern about those dates, let us know now. Let us know when you get a good sense of a potential conflict or anything else that might affect us gathering and having quorum. And just so you know, if meetings are to move virtual, we'll do our best to let folks know in good time. It's not typical that we switch to virtual unless there's extenuating circumstances. So we'll try our best to let you know in good time. Yeah, as you can see at the bottom there are other dates to consider. So some holidays that were taken into mind as well. And of course, if you know you're going to be away, as per usual, please let Dorothy know. Okay. So what we'll do at this point is, can I have a mover and a seconder to approve the 2026 meeting schedule?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Hinch. Can I have a seconder, please?
Carlotta, I'll second.
Seconded by Carlotta. Thank you, folks. That the African Descent Advisory Committee approve the proposed 2026 African Descent Advisory Committee meeting schedule as outlined in the staff memorandum. All those in favor say aye, and those opposed say nay.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
You get too close together.
Thank you. I declare the motion is carried. Item 9.2, committee member updates. This is our roundtable portion of the meeting. Do you have any updates from your community? Anything you wish to share with our membership? I know September, October, November tends to be quite conference heavy, and there's a lot going on in community. This is your chance to let us know what events we should be paying attention to, sharing more information about, and hopefully attending.
Um, hmm. I know there's a few things that are going on directly in my community. Like on Sunday, there is the holiday market on our Agricola Street that's open. It's an open street. So there'd be no traffic going down between, I think it's 12 to 5. It's definitely ends at 5. So I think it's from 12 to 5 or maybe 2 to 5. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't brought it. I don't, it's not in front of me right now. But and it's on my website. It's on my Facebook page as well. So yeah, coming down and support. There's quite a few Black vendors normally there and everything. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Counselor. That's a big part. I know we're getting into the holiday, the festive period, but again, supporting Black businesses, that's something we should be doing as well. So thank you for sharing that. Anything else, folks, in your communities and other communities that you're aware of? Happy to circulate any information even after this meeting.
Maps, I would also like to add, because the last time that I was at the last meeting, I discussed the fellowship program for African Nova Scotian students. So I'm getting ready probably to take that to council for December the 2nd to hopefully get that approved so that we can have at least between 2 to 5 students. And how it's going to work is Delmore Buddy Day is going to facilitate with helping us recruit students to become a part of the municipality, whereas they can work in the counselor's office, in the mayor's office, the clerk's office, wherever they want to, even, parts of the business units if they want to, if their interest is there. And this is a paid position for 6 weeks. So I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that it comes to fruition. And I'm hoping there's something that's going to be a yearly thing. So cross fingers. I hope that comes to be. So yeah, I'm excited.
You should be. It sounds wonderful, Counselor. Thank you for sharing that information. Is there any idea if it's going to be, are you going to present that to council on a particular day in December? And we'd love to tune in and support.
So December the 2nd
December the
is
2nd.
council. So yeah, I plan on putting a motion forward. I plan on meeting with the mayor, hopefully long before that, and hopefully he will support it. I sent everything out to the other councilors and they seem quite in favor of it. So it's looking good.
Wonderful. And I'm not sure if it's the way to go, but if there's anything our committee can do to support that and also endorse that, Dorothy, Tracy, please let us know if that's appropriate, if that's possible. We'd love to give that a shout of support. Russell, I saw your hand earlier.
Yeah, just really quickly, I just want to mention, and it's something that I can circulate to Dorothy that she can share with committee members as well. But it was just something that came through one of my channels today, just around the Human Rights Commission modernization engagement efforts. So there are some upcoming sessions where they're looking to engage with the African Nova Scotian community around issues impacting access to justice and timelines in the human rights disputes and resolution process. So I think there's 4 sessions coming up before the end of November. So like I said, I can circulate that with Dorothy and she can distribute it to committee members to try to kind of increase the participation with that initiative.
Please do, Russell. Thank you. So Dorothy, if you could get back to us about supporting Councillor Hinch's fellowship initiative, just to let us know if there's any course of action we can take. And the information that Russell shared there, about the research initiative. That should also please be circulated among our membership once you have that information.
Okay, sure, I will do that.
Thank you. Any other updates, events, issues, concerns? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to item number 10. There are no added items. Item number 11 is the date of the next meeting. So our next meeting will be January 22nd, 2026. And I remind folks that there will be no meeting in December. So we'll be taking a break in December. No meeting. Our next meeting is January 22nd, 2026. So I believe this will be the last time we see each other, at least this year. A huge thank you to everyone. I know it's taken us a while to get going and everything, but this year has definitely felt a lot different, a lot more engaged, and I think we're finding our voices. So thank you all for sticking with this. I know it's a lot of time to give up in your evenings, but this is something really, really important. It's rare for folks to have a platform like this, a space like this for us, by us. And I hope we can keep pushing our government to be more equitable, more inclusive, more anti-racist. And I welcome your ideas. I welcome your engagement, your participation in all of the various forms that it takes. The folks who are a little quieter, I encourage you to be more vocal. You know, as you can see, we're all just winging it in our own little ways. So please don't be shy. We're figuring this out and learning together. This is a learning space as well. So a huge thank you for a very enjoyable year for me from the point that you appointed me as your chair. I've told Tracy and Russell and Dorothy a few times that I've enjoyed it, and I'm very happy to be your chair and excited to keep serving you in any way. And the little sidebar conversations that happen in my inbox of thank yous, of support and encouragement, and just even giving folks encouragement myself has been very rewarding for me. So thank you for a fantastic year with you lovely people. I hope to see more of you out in community, out in public. I see a few every once in a while, but more of you would be lovely. So thank you, folks. I hope you enjoyed this year as much as I did.
I did, MAP. And you know what? Thank you for all that you do, because you make this enjoyable as well. So I'm grateful to be on this committee.
So if there's nothing further to formally address, I think at this point I will adjourn the meeting. Can I get a mover to adjourn the meeting, please?
I can move that.
Thank you, Counselor. The meeting is adjourned.
Happy holidays to everybody, and
Thank you, everyone.
enjoy. Thank
Take care,
you.
folks.